Welcome back to the AIMinds podcast. This is a podcast where we explore the companies of tomorrow being built AI first. I am your host, Dimitri Ose, and this episode is brought to you by DeepGram, the #1 voice API on the internet today, trusted by the world's top conversational AI leaders, startups, and enterprises like Spotify, Twilio, NASA, and Citibank. We are joined this episode by the CEO and founder of xAGI, Saurav. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Well, I want to start off getting to know you more because your background is very colorful. I know that in 2015, you started working on compression algorithms and you were doing a lot of work through Amazon, if I'm not mistaken, on compressing videos. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I come from New Delhi, India. And back in 2015, the internet speeds, we were still on 2G and 3G networks. So watching like MIT courseware videos and Coursera videos, it was a big task because you would have to download them and then share it across pen drives in your college network and all. So I was thinking of a way to compress educational videos to very small size. So I came up with a lossy video compression algorithm that basically cut across a lot of part of the video which was not useful and just focused on the most value-giving part of the video. So let's say if it was a lecture of some professor explaining something on the blackboard, so we would vectorize the professor's writing on the blackboard and just truncate the portion of his face which was speaking, and that gave us like 90 to 95% compression. And this project was facilitated by Amazon Research Grant, which is a part of their many initiatives.
So first of all, I want to comment on the fact that you were playing with vectorizing things in 2015. I'm sure that that came in useful later on down the line where you are now. But from there, you got a little bit interested in crypto, if I'm not mistaken.
I worked on video compressions a lot. We started with the educational videos, and then we saw that even stand-up comedy also offers a platform where there's just one speaker and who's walking across the stage. So then we moved to compressing stand-up comedy videos. And then I realized the important fact that compression is one of the many ways to arrive at truth, right? So there are many ways to arrive at truth, and one of the ways is compression. So that's like another philosophical tangent. So it got me thinking, like, what are the other areas where this technology could be used? So one place I applied it was compressing URLs, which is like your typical URL shortener. So, but the key to make that work was you needed a database which everyone had access to, so they can uncompress the URL when they wanted to access the longer URL, right? And that's how the blockchain came about as a solution. So it's like a distributed ledger which everyone has the same state, is on the same state. So I implemented that technology for compressing URLs. And then at the same time, I got interested into the technology of blockchain, how it works.
And you were playing around with Ethereum back when it first came out?
So Ethereum ICO, I still remember we were like reading the yellow paper and just discussing like what this new thing is, because Vitalik at that time was a Thiel fellow, and I was closely following many Thiel fellows at that time, what they were doing. So I started with Ethereum, like writing smart contracts, learning Solidity, and then hopefully building something on top.
That's fascinating. Then your journey shifted. You moved from India and you went into Silicon Valley and did the whole YC thing, right?
I basically applied to YC with an idea of building a product that I saw in US. So as part of my Amazon research, I went to US for some time, and there I saw a product which was like bank account integration for fintech applications. And the similar product was not existing in India. So I thought, let's create something for the Indian market. And the government was also actively involved in this area. So long story short, we applied to YC. I applied to YC with a couple of my friends, and uh, we got to, learn more about this world of Silicon Valley. I met the founders of Airbnb, Twitch, OpenAI, and got to see at firsthand like what it is like building a company in the valley. It was a great experience.
It's really cool to know that you got to meet and network with some of these very predominant names in the field, especially people like the founders of OpenAI or Twitch or Stripe or Airbnb. All of that is very useful, I imagine, for your journey. And now you are not only creating an AI consultancy, but an AI product company. Can you explain a little bit about what you've got going on?
So when the research paper from Google, Attention is All You Need, came out, I got really interested in what sort of opportunities it will unlock. More interested I was in the focus of the Hacker News community on this paper, how much importance they were giving to it. So that the same thing had happened back when Bitcoin paper had come out. The Hacker News community was like all very interested in that. So it got me reading that paper and coming up with a plan of how these things will change the computer layer of current software. So I started xAGI. It's an AI product studio and consultancy firm where we develop LLM applications to further enhance the way humans operate with computers and automate business operations across multiple layers, including collecting customer feedback and doing research.
Okay, so that is the inspiration behind it. What have you been seeing by way of challenges when you're trying to build out products that have AI in them, or even AI first product?
So one of the challenges is basically bringing down the latency, because Web 2.0 or Web 3.0 have got us this used to this fast, quick feedback when we use the websites and applications. And if you try using any voice bot or any LLM application, there's like a fundamental delay. So bringing that latency down is the most important thing to improving that UX, which we are constantly trying to do at the various voice agents and other bots that we are working on.
And how are you going about that? Because I know just LLMs in general are not known for their speed. You add in a few other API calls and it all starts to stack on top of each other, right? So it's a really hard engineering problem. Have you found anything that works well?
Yeah, we're actively looking at what possible solution there could be. And some of the models like in LLM, like there's Anthropic Claude Haiku model that is pretty faster than GPT-4 as well as intelligent. So we are closely looking at what they are doing differently in trying to bring down the speed and implementing those across different UX layers like voice and chat. So it's mostly like reading a lot of research paper, following up like GitHub repositories to see what's the latest going on.
And what is the products that you've created so far?
So one of the products that we have is Convolexa. It's a voice survey forms where companies can create a link and distribute it to their audience, where people can fill up a survey by answering questions and talking to a voice agent. So apart from this, we are also working on our AI insurance advisor bot, which will help people choose the right health insurance for them by asking them a bunch of questions about their age and medical history.
So both of these sound very useful. I really like the form one. You don't have to type in, and you can just talk to the form, and hopefully it picks it up, and it saves you time. On the insurance one, though, it seems a little bit scary because you are actively recommending things that have gigantic impacts on people's lives.
So the way in India, the way insurance is sold is that it's a very spammy sort of way of selling insurance. Like you sign up for one of these website once, and then they keep on following up, and they
Yeah.
eventually sell you the plan, which makes them the most money anyways. So the current recommendation is biased in that way. So what we are doing differently is basically we downloaded all the policy wordings of all the existing policies, and then we basically create a vector embedding on top of this data, and then we help users compare across all the different parameters of these insurance policies. So you can talk to the bot, and you can go as deep as you want to choose the right plan. And so that's the basic idea. And even if you feel that you need to talk to like a real person, then that is also an option. We can just give you the number of the insurance advisor, and you can talk to them. But the bot in itself does a pretty good job of someone who is a little bit savvy about health insurance to make the right choice.
I could see that being very valuable for the customer, and I could see the insurance companies not liking you at all.
Yeah, maybe.
You're not making friends with the insurance companies because you're potentially downselling the products. But I guess at the end of the day, if you're bringing them business, they've got to be happy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, if people are able to make that purchase decision quickly, and so everyone is happy.
Yeah. Yeah. And you are, if I'm understanding this correctly, you're just asking the customer everything about their health and what they've had, past history, all of that good stuff, and then recommending out of all the different options on the market, you're saying, okay, this provider and this plan seems like it will be fine for you. So if it is somebody who's a relatively healthy 25-year-old, they're going to be recommended one plan. But if it's an elderly woman, it's going to be a completely different plan.
Absolutely. So after asking you all these questions and even other specific questions like, are you a smoker or not? Or do you have a family history of diabetes? We can go as niche as possible and give you the right plan. And things you might miss in the long terms and conditions of these policies, the bot can easily highlight those for you so that you make the right decision at the end of the day.
And again, this is you talking to the phone, or this is you writing in the forms or talking with a chatbot?
So currently we have both voice and chat interface. Obviously, the chat one is the one that we are actively using for making it better, but eventually it will be available on both voice and chat.
That's awesome. Are there any other areas or projects that you would like to start, but you haven't gotten around to it yet because maybe you don't have the time to do it since you already have these two up and running?
Yeah, like there's like tons of ideas that we're always excited about, and one of the ideas that the team is really excited about is to use AI in astrology. So astrology, especially spiritual tech, is actually growing in India a lot. So we are thinking about how we can use AI to make spiritual tech and especially astrology accessible to everyone for like a very low cost.
I love that idea because the last time that I got my astrological charts read, first of all, I have so much respect for the people that read those charts because it's so complicated. There's so many things that you have to keep in mind and understand, and you can read it many different ways. And I think that's the beauty of the person that reads it. They can interpret it in one way or another, right? But
Yeah.
the way that it was done was through an app that was telling the person that was reading my astrology charts, they were showing them things that I didn't really understand, but for them, it made a lot of sense, right? Like where my house was or where the moon was and all of that. And so being able to make that easier for the reader, it feels like a really cool problem to solve.
Absolutely. It's like we can do a podcast episode on just this aspect of astrology. And yeah, for those who believe in it, it's actually game-changing, life-changing. And there are a lot of people who derive good lessons from this experience.
Yeah, because we should preface this with astrology readings from someone in India, I think, are very different than the astrology readings that you get in the West that come in your column like, oh, you're a Gemini, just watch out. It's very vague and kind of general, and so anyone can relate to it. But the astrology readings that I've had, like, are so in-depth and so incredibly done. I think I spent an hour and a half with someone just going over all of the different houses that the planets were in and all of that fun stuff.
Absolutely. We are currently going to start working on the beta version of this app. So when it is ready, I'll definitely send you an invite.
Yes, please do. And you bring up the idea of spiritual tech. I feel like another thing that India is known for is yoga. Have you thought about how to bring in tech to that spirituality aspect?
Yeah, I mean, in India, there's already a lot of startups which are into that, like Ashtanga yoga, Hatha yoga. A lot of people are doing incredible work, which I personally used and derived so much value out of. So it's a booming industry, as you said.
Yeah. I guess with yoga, the only thing is like tech can't get you into downward dog. You got to do that one on your own. Well, Saurav, this has been awesome, man. I appreciate you coming on here and chatting with me about everything that you're doing at xAGI. I really am excited for this astrology app. I'm also excited for everything else that you already have in motion and your drive to help the end consumer get better healthcare policies and insurance is commendable. I appreciate that. And so look forward to hearing how it all goes.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.